What is up, everybody? I'm hoping you're well and are staying safe during this time, and welcome to my new series, Film Friday, a series in which I use my handy little My Movies app just here, give it a little shake, and it will randomly select a movie for me to review from my massive collection for you guys. For example, this one it's just selected is 7, so I would review 7. I'm going to just use that as an example though, so I'm going to give it a little shake, and whatever movie it comes up with will be the movie that I review for you guys next. So here we go. Oh, no, that's just... Well, that's a fine choice for a first movie. Let's get down to this. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Why did this have to be the first movie that was chosen out at random? I mean, it wasn't. 7 was the first one I used that as an example. Why did I use 7 as an example and I've got this movie to watch? It's fine. Fine. Let's just get this out of the way and talk about this movie. So The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen stars Sean Connery as a... Why am I even explaining that? I could just read the back of the thing. When a masked madman known as the Phantom threatens to launch global Armageddon, legendary hunter/adventurer Alan Quatermain commands a legion of superheroes, the likes of which mankind has never seen. Now they must join forces to save the world. And if you haven't seen this movie, that description will come off as cheesy as hell, and that's exactly what this movie is. It is a full-on pop conflict, guilty pleasure movie that, when I'm in the mood to watch it, I actually find rather enjoyable. Now don't get me wrong, this movie is not a good movie, not by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're in that sort of dumb, fun action mood, it can be a rather enjoyable time. There are a lot of genuinely funny moments in this movie and a lot of really cheesy and over-the-top performances that just make it all the more enjoyable. That being said, there is a lot in this movie that is just bad. The dialogue, for example, is... I kind of went into Christopher Walken then for some reason. The dialogue in this movie is bad. That was a terrible impression. Why the fuck did I just do that? The dialogue in this movie is bad as hell. It is very over the top, very cheesy. But I do think that adds to the charm of this movie, and most of the actors in this film do seem to be enjoying the material that they've been given. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of times where the movie tries to take itself a little bit too seriously, and in that you can just laugh more at the film rather than the film actually being funny. But like I said, there are some genuinely funny moments in this movie. Jason Flemyng, for example, has a great line when he's battling the bigger, not Mr. Hyde, but Mr. Hyde-esque type monster, where the character of Captain Nemo comes up to him and just says, "What's that?" and he just goes, "Me on a bad day." The way that line was delivered, the way it was just thrown away so nonchalantly, is genuinely funny. And even the action scenes in this movie aren't actually half bad, but they are very choppily edited, which is the biggest flaw for this film. I feel like if the action sequences had been more well edited and well shot, this would be much more of a well-renowned guilty pleasure action flick. And there are some clearly good moments of stunt work in this movie, especially with the character of Nemo, but we don't focus long enough on him on a particular shot to really show off the stunts that are actually happening. Like I said, a lot of the action sequences are very quick cut, it's very close-up shots, very quickly edited, and I understand why action movies do that. It's meant to add to the adrenaline of the scene, but sometimes it's just nice to sit back and see the stunt work that you have unfold. Now the plot of this movie is very simplistic as well. You've got a ragtag group of people who have special abilities that are brought together to take down this evil, and so you're supposed to have that dynamic between these characters to keep you interested as they start to learn to trust each other, because at first there is going to be that lack of trust there between certain characters. And some of the characters do bounce off really well with each other. As I mentioned before, the cheesy dialogue does definitely help, especially when the actors are going full on with it. And Sean Connery in this movie is actually rather entertaining. In fact, most of the cast are entertaining when they are full on hamming it up. It's when it starts to get really serious that it really drags the movie down. I don't think the movie's terribly helmed. I think Stephen Norrington does a good job of directing this movie. The cinematography is atrocious though. It's not a visually good looking movie in my opinion. The colours are quite dull in this film. Nothing really jumps off the screen at you. There's nothing special about the camera work in this movie. It's your generic sort of action blockbuster, which bombed at the box office, so it's not really a blockbuster, but you know what I mean. I will say the score definitely helps add to the over-the-top action that goes on in this movie. The score actually works for the cheesiness of this film. So overall, the cast, while very cheesy and hammy at times and can be very enjoyable, they don't really give it their all, and when they are taken too seriously, it really does drag the movie down. The direction's fine. Like I said, the cinematography is something that I'm not really a fan of in this movie. The score, ridiculous and over the top, does help the action sequences, and I do feel the editing, had it been better in the more action heavy sequences, it could have been a much more enjoyable film. It's not a great movie. It is one of those guilty pleasure films that you have to be in the mood to watch. I wasn't in the mood to watch it today though, so I'm trying to be as kind as I can. If you're not in the mood to watch it, it is a bit of a bore, and it does drag. It's not a long movie, it's about an hour 40 minutes, but if you're not really in the mood to watch it, it feels like it's over 2 hours long. The pacing for some reason just seems to drag, especially in the more character-driven scenes, which would work if you're actually fleshing out the characters in some way, but they don't really give you too much to latch onto these characters for, so in that, you don't really care too much about them. But overall, like I said, if you're in the mood for a dumb guilty pleasure film, it's a rather enjoyable watch. If you're not though, then I'd probably say skip over it. And so for all those reasons, I'm going to give The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 2 stars. So, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, have you guys seen it? What are your thoughts on the movie? Whatever they are, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and for some more videos just like this one, then subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.